Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another installation of terrible takes from NBA TikTok, number 2, numero dos. Now, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, man. I really doubted TikTok from the start, but it's in my starting lineup. It's in my starting lineup of apps. I go on it as much as Twitter. I go on it as much as Instagram, as much as YouTube. It's up there. It's up there. So if you guys ever want to tag me in some terrible take you guys see on the app, go ahead and follow me at @bsouls_, and also tag your boy again whenever you guys see these terrible takes. And if I get to around 3,000 followers on there, I might take it more seriously. I mean, I already gave my information to China. Might as well go big with it, you know what I'm saying? But today we are going to be looking at 3 specific TikToks, 3 specific TikTok takes that I think are worthy of being in the installation of a worst take video. We're going to be rocking with the red windscreen this video. Shout out to this guy from the last video for suggesting. Go ahead and leave a suggestion in the comment section for what color y'all want to see next. Leave a like on the video if you like videos like this, and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all my latest uploads. I upload twice a week and I've been pretty consistent with it the past couple of weeks. I'm not gonna lie, except for that 1 week where I took a break, but pretty consistent. But let the games begin. Now, I've seen this graphic before, and I guess it's making its rounds on TikTok because it has like 100,000 likes, which is a lot for a TikTok. And it shows LeBron James's winning percentage without an all-star on the left, and Michael Jordan's winning percentage in the playoffs without Scottie Pippen on the right. And its goal is to make Michael Jordan look like this player that really can't win without help, and how overrated those 6 rings are because he couldn't really do anything without any star help. Meanwhile, you have LeBron James, who even without the star help is more successful in the playoffs. This is the aim of this video. But let's go ahead and take a deep dive. Let's analyze these 2 statistics and how flawed they are. Oh my goodness. But my first question, first and foremost, why is it not the exact same 2 criteria for both players? Why aren't we looking at Jordan's winning percentage without all-stars as well in the playoffs? I think brain blast, I think I figured it out. Because when you look at Jordan's winning percentage with an all-star in the playoffs, he won a championship. He won a championship technically speaking. Because fun fact, in 1991, Scottie Pippen did not make the all-star team. And you know what happened that year? The Chicago Bulls won a championship. I know how flawed of an argument that is because obviously Scottie Pippen was a good player that year, but technically speaking, Michael Jordan won a championship without an all-star. But let's take an even deeper dive, because when we look at the games that Michael Jordan played with Scottie Pippen in the playoffs, this is the reality. A decent amount of those games, Scottie Pippen did not play well. So for example, let's look at 1988. 1988, technically, Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen on his team. A Scottie Pippen that only averaged 10 points a game. You know why? Because he was a rookie. The year after, in his second year, Scottie Pippen, once again in the playoffs, averaged 13 points a game. These are 2 years in Scottie Pippen's career where he was just flat out not a star because it was his rookie year and his second year in the league. Meanwhile, in the playoffs, you know what Michael Jordan was putting up? 35 points and 36 points a game respectively. Yeah, these are the games that count in that games with Scottie Pippen. And this isn't just like a series or 2. These are 27 games. 27 games. That is a big sample size. That's nearly a third of a season. And that is just in Scottie's first 2 years. I don't even want to talk about how poorly he played in the second three-peat. But just really quickly, y'all know what Jordan averaged in the 1998 finals? 34 points. You know what Scottie Pippen averaged? 16 points a game on this efficiency. This I'm putting it on the screen. Not good. Flu game 1997. Michael Jordan scored 37 points on the road in a finals game with either a hangover or an actual flu. Either way, that's impressive. You know what Scottie Pippen did that game? Shot 5 of 17 from the field, did not make a single field goal in the 4th quarter. The only one he took, he missed. Yet again, all of these games count as games Jordan played with Scottie Pippen. But now let's look at the other side. Let's look at the playoff games that LeBron James did not play with an all-star. Another fun fact for y'all. In 2016, LeBron James was the only player on the Cleveland Cavaliers who made an all-star team. So technically that year, LeBron James did not play with an all-star. So every single win, every single game in that playoff run, despite how great Kyrie Irving played in the finals, dude averaged 27 a game, was uberly clutch in Game 5 and Game 7 and Game 6. Not that none of that counts, but in this specific stat, in the specific criteria, those are just games LeBron James played without an all-star. Meanwhile, when we look at 2018, a playoff run that's been renowned for how much LeBron James carried that team, that is technically a playoff run where LeBron James played with the all-star, because Kevin Love that year made an all-star team. And just in general, this is just a really flawed way to look at things. This is just a really flawed way to look at things, because by this stat, that means that LeBron James had more help in 2018 than in 2016. By this stat, in 1991, Michael Jordan won without an all-star, when we know for a fact that Scottie Pippen was an all-star caliber player. Honestly, this is one of the worst graphics I've ever seen.
So all of you guys are saying LeBron's 2011 finals performance was the worst performance by any star in NBA history? That is far from true. Let's take a deep look into the numbers. During that series, LeBron averaged 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals while shooting 48% from the field. Let's take it back to 2015 when Andre Iguodala averaged 16 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal and won Finals MVP. In 1988, James Worthy won Finals MVP while having 22 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. In 2004, Chauncey Billups had 21 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and guess what? He won Finals MVP. So as you could see, all of these numbers are either similar or worse than LeBron's 2011 performance, and they got Finals MVP. Just take a moment and think about that. It's simple.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I swear to God, like I try to look for non-LeBron takes on this app, but the worst ones every single time is about LeBron and comes from LeBron James stands. I can't, dude. I can't. This has to be one of the worst takes I've ever seen. One of the worst takes I've ever seen. This man tried to justify LeBron's 2011 finals just because his stats matched up with a couple finals MVPs from the past. And that's the sole reason. What? What? Look, obviously the 18, 7, and 7 LeBron James put up in that series is better than the fucking 4 points per game Eddie House was putting up off the bench. Obviously, this is not the worst finals performance of all time. When people say that this is one of the worst, if not the worst finals performance of all time, that is obviously comparing it to LeBron James's standards and LeBron James's standards only. We are not doing this comparing it to fucking Andre Iguodala's standards. Superstars have different expectations from stars, let alone bench players. Like, what are we doing here? Okay, if that's too much for you, let me put this in everyday terms. Let me put this in layman's terms. If you have two kids, right? Kid A and Kid B. Kid A is notoriously good at math. This guy is destined for MIT greatness, right? Kid B is a fucking dumbass. This guy gets 45s, 35s on every single test. And they go into the final exam of the semester, right? The biggest exam of the semester. This is 30% of your class grade. 30%. And student A, the guy who's really smart, gets a 75 on it. And student B also gets a 75 on it. The only way those two getting the exact same score is equivalently impressive, emphasis on equivalently impressive, is if two things are the case. One, you're either saying the guy who's really good at math is actually really bad at math. Or two, you're saying the guy who's really bad at math is actually really good. Because if it's anything other than that, The guy who's really good at math getting a 75 is not as impressive as the guy who fails almost every single time and gets a 75 on the test. That's overachieving for him, while for the other guy, it's underachieving. And what you did when you compared Andre Iguodala's Finals MVP to LeBron James' 2011 Finals performance is either said Andre Iguodala is just as good as LeBron, or LeBron James is bad enough that we compare him to Andre Iguodala standards now. Mind you, LeBron James is arguably the greatest player of all time, and you brought up names like Chauncey Billups and James Worthy, which, again, all respect to those guys, but those guys are barely top 50 players. The only guy who has a case for a majority of people is James Worthy, and he's at the highest in the 30s. LeBron James at the highest is 1. At the highest is 1. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I'm talking about. You see, these were the 5 best rookies this year, right? They all played enough games to be rookies. So they're all rookies. If you don't play enough games, then you're a rookie next year. But these guys, see, they're all rookies this year. Now, who's the best one out of them all? It's this guy in the middle right here, Zion. He played the best out of all of them. But this guy won Rookie of the Year. Why? Ja Morant fans use 2 reasons why. Because he almost made the playoffs. Bruh, this is an individual accolade, not a team accolade. And 2 is because Zion didn't play enough games, even though he clearly did.
Now, this last take, thank God. Oh my God, it's a non-LeBron take. I really don't get why people want Zion to win Rookie of the Year so bad. Like, almost every single time, no one has ever brought up the Rookie of the Year when talking about a player's career. Like, ever. Like, even when we talk about, like, Michael Carter-Williams, even when he won Rookie of the Year, no one's bringing it up 5 years later. Oh, but he won Rookie of the Year, though. Like, no one does that. The argument for Ja Morant is very simple. Very simple. On top of nearly leading the Memphis Grizzlies to the playoffs in his rookie year, the man put up the numbers. He put up 18 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds on pretty good efficiency, and only missed 6 of the possible games played. This isn't the dude that just put up 12 points and 4 assists and won Rookie of the Year. 18 points and 7 assists is 18 points and 7 assists. Zion Williamson, while putting up better numbers, just didn't play enough games. It just makes the most sense, at the very least from a voter's perspective, to give the award to a guy who put up the great numbers and played a majority of the season than the guy who, yes, put up the great numbers but only played like 20 games. And this is not the first time it's happened. In 2017, Joel Embiid and Malcolm Brogdon were the 2 guys racing for the Rookie of the Year. And Joel Embiid was in the same shoes that Zion was in. He was the guy that was putting up the great numbers, who was head and toes above everyone from just, a statistical perspective, from a value perspective. He was just the best player, right? But he only played 30 games. Malcolm Brogdon, on the other hand, still put up great numbers for a rookie, but he was the guy that played, I believe, like 70 plus games. So what that means is that there's a precedence to how this award is given. And this isn't a precedent that was like 20 years ago. This is a precedent that happened 3 years ago. And it would look very hypocritical for the voters to give the award to Zion instead of Ja Morant when they didn't do the same for Joel Embiid in his rookie season. But also, you brought up the all-rookie teams, and I think for the all-rookie teams, there's much more leniency for this team than it is for the all-NBA or, the all-defensive teams. And again, this award, heck, honestly, any award has never represented who's the best of the best in some certain category. Like, the MVP doesn't represent the best player in the league. The Defensive Player of the Year doesn't necessarily represent the best defensive player in the league. And the Rookie of the Year is no exception. If you win Rookie of the Year, the NBA is not saying you're the best rookie. You know what I'm saying? This is a season-wide award, a regular season award. So they're only looking at the play in those 82 games. It just happens because of these awards and their names and who's qualified to be in them, that the players who are running for these awards year in and year out are in the same pool as the players who are the best of the best in this category, despite the rankings being different every single year. Because the point of of these awards is to reward the players who played phenomenal in the 82 game span of the season. This isn't a way for the NBA to like rank players 1 to 10. Like that's not the point of these awards. And when you're not consistent with how you vote, when you're not consistent with the president of these awards, then that, if anything, ruins the value of these awards even more. It ruins them. Because what you show when you do that is that you just pick and choose who wins every single year. That's what you show. But that's going to be it for this video. If you guys want to send me more terrible NBA takes on TikTok, once again, follow me on there at @bsouls_. Go ahead and at your boy on these takes. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace.